Hello friends, today is June 23rd, 1 o'clock Eastern time, and today I'm going to talk about what I learned from Leviticus 19. I have been spending this morning, not only in the Word, but trying to figure out how to create an introduction video. I think I have done it. This makes me tired thinking about it, but I am going to put the link in the description part of this video. So if you'd like to know more about me, just some background information about me, how I got started on this, and how God has changed my life. And so these videos are just to document my journey as I learn more about God, learn more about his heart, his love for us, and how I'm learning more about myself. So Leviticus 19 is quite lengthy. It's about various different laws that God is speaking to Moses. They're like practical laws on how to live your life, spiritually and while you're in the world, basically. So, chapter 19, verse 1. The Lord said to Moses, "Speak to the entire assembly of Israel and say to them, be holy, because I, the Lord your God, am holy." So God's telling Moses, you guys are supposed to reflect me. Be righteous, be just, be kind, be compassionate, and you're supposed to reflect me. Let's see here. I can't even see my own paper. Goodness. So, also before I get into what I found the spiritual meaning behind this, when I say you, it's because I'm going off of my notes, and these notes and stuff are for my grandchildren. So I'm not a preacher. It's just me. I'm just a regular person, and I'm just doing this to show that and I'm a regular person, and in the life of a Christian life is not always unicorns and rainbows. So anyway, so God's telling Moses this, say, hey, you're supposed to reflect me. I'm the Lord your God, and you're supposed to be completely set apart. These are his traits: holy, just, kind, generous. He is your God, and he gives you identity. So he is my God, and he gives me my identity. Verse 3. Each of you must respect your mother and father, and you must observe my Sabbaths. I am the Lord your God. Do not turn to idols or make metal gods for yourselves. I am the Lord your God. So this is the foundational pillar. There are 3 commands here. 3 commands. 1, respect your parents. 2, keep the Sabbath, because God wants us to rest. He wants us to rest and reflect on the goodness of him. And 3, don't turn to worthless idols. And back then, they made idols, and they probably had some other behavior idols too. But when I'm saying idols, it's not just a golden calf or something like that. Our idols can be anything. It could be addiction. It could be shopping. It could be, I don't know, whatever. An idol is anything that you put before God. So holiness starts at home. Respect your parents. Our closest relationships, our family members. In Mark 7, 9 through 13, Jesus is talking to the religious leaders. And he is saying, I was going to write that down, but he's telling them, if I remember correctly, that here's God's command, respect your family, but you guys say, no, you got to give it to the Lord, so don't help out your family. And that goes right against God's commandment about respect your mother and father. So Jesus was telling them, you guys are, being hypocritical here. You're just being selfish. Sabbath is a day of rest. God is always first and is the only God, no idols. Jesus is the Son of God, but he obeyed and honored his earthly parents, Mary and Joseph. In Luke 2:51, Mary it says something like Jesus, obeyed his parents, and Jesus remembered well. And what that means is she remembers everything, meaning she cherished those memories and those experiences as being the mother of Jesus. Verse 5, when you sacrifice a fellowship offering to the Lord, sacrifice it in such a way that it will be accepted on your behalf. It shall be eaten on the day you sacrifice it or on the next day. Anything left over until the third day must be burned up. If any of it is eaten on the third day, it is impure and will not be accepted. Whoever eats it will be held responsible because they have desecrated what is holy to the Lord. They must be cut off from their people. So the peace offering, a fellowship offering is the same as the peace offering. And these were not required sacrifices. Like, this was not a sin offering or a burnt offering. This was just an offering that the people wanted to give to God for Thanksgiving, for showing how good he is. And so it was an offering of gratitude. They were not earning God's favor. They were responding to the goodness of God. This one wasn't required. God desires worship motivated by love. That's it. Not by obligation, not by rituals. He desires relationship. In Psalm 34:8, taste and see that the Lord is good. Verse 9, when you reap the harvest of your land, do not reap to the very edges of your field. So God's telling them, don't harvest the entire thing. Leave the edges. Or gather the gleanings of your harvest. Do not go over your vineyard a second time, or pick up the grapes that have fallen. Leave them for the poor and the foreigner, the traveler. And they might need something to eat. I am the Lord your God. So he's using the harvest for people to teach generosity. He's saying, don't harvest the entire field. Leave some for the poor and the people who are just walking along, who just need, something to eat. God calls all of us to leave room in our lives for generosity and serving others. All of us. We're supposed to leave some room in our lives to give back to others or to help others. Verse 11, do not steal, do not lie, do not deceive one another, do not swear falsely by my name, and so profane the name of your God. And I learned from heartdive.org, the profane part means making God's name common, because God is not common. He is to be revered. He is God. I am the Lord. Do not defraud or rob your neighbor. Do not hold back the wages of a hired worker overnight, because in that time, the people were living day to day. So they needed their day's wages, because that might mean that they take those wages and they go get some food and bring it home to their family. So if somebody worked their worker overnight, the family didn't get fed either. So do not curse the deaf or put a stumbling block in front of the blind, but fear your God. I am the Lord. Do not pervert justice. Do not show partiality to the poor or favoritism to the great, but judge your neighbor fairly. Do not go about spreading slander among your people, that is gossip. Do not do anything that endangers your neighbor's life. I am the Lord. Do not hate a fellow Israelite in your heart. Rebuke your neighbor frankly, so you will not share in their guilt. Do not seek revenge or bear a grudge against anyone among your people, but love your neighbor as yourself, because I am the Lord. So right there he's saying, go directly to, you got some beef with somebody, go directly to that person. You don't have to go and tell everybody else about it and then they all of a sudden hear about it. It actually hurts three people. It hurts you, the gossiper, because it damages your character. You're talking mess about people. It hurts the person, whoever is hearing it, because they're thinking the way you're saying it, and it hurts the gossipee, I guess, the person that is being gossiped about. Just go directly to that person. You don't have to talk. You don't have to tell everybody whatever. Goodness, I'm sorry, my throat is. I'm feeling throat sore. Anyway, so let's see. What was that? Verse 11. Okay. Do not take advantage. This is the spiritual meaning behind what I found from it. You do not take advantage of someone else's weakness, ignorance, vulnerability, or inability to defend themselves. Today, this includes exploitation of anyone. Anyone, children, women, anyone. Mocking others, taking advantage of those who trust us. God sees every single thing, anything that is hidden. He already knows. Even those committed against people who may never know that somebody trespassed against them. Verse 18, the one that says, but love your neighbor as yourself, becomes one of the greatest commandments according to Jesus. If your eyes are fixed on Jesus, and I also got this from heartdive.org and I had to write it down. If your eyes are fixed on Jesus, you will not look down on anyone. The ground is level at the foot of the cross. Jesus laid down his life for every single one of us. Verse 19. Keep my decrees. Do not make different kinds of animals. Do not plant your field with two different kinds of seed. Do not wear clothing woven of two kinds of material. This is basically telling be distinct and set apart, and don't conform to this world. If a man sleeps with a female slave who is promised to another man, but who has not been ransomed or given her freedom, there must be due punishment. Yet they are not to be put to death, because she had not been freed. The man, however, must bring a ram to the entrance of the tent of meeting for a guilt offering to the Lord. With the ram of the guilt offering, the priest is to make atonement for him before the Lord for the sin he has committed, and his sin will be forgiven. So God considers all circumstances, motives, responsibilities, and levels of accountability. Jesus became the sacrifice for all who have sinned and fall short of God's standards. Romans 3:23 through 24 basically says every single person has fallen short. We all sin, but anyone can be forgiven and made right with God, and it doesn't cost anything. Why doesn't it cost anything? Because Jesus gave his own life to pay for our sins. Verse 23, when you enter the land and plant any kind of fruit tree, regard its fruit as forbidden. For 3 years you are to consider it forbidden, it must not be eaten. In the 4th year, all its fruit will be holy, an offering of praise to the Lord. But in the 5th year you may eat its fruit. In this way your harvest will be increased. I am the Lord your God. So here, you can't touch the fruit for 3 years because it's forbidden. The 4th year is God's, and that's showing your first fruits. He's teaching patience, trust, and gratitude. The entire harvest belongs to God in the 4th year. The first 3 years spiritually means to be patient while the roots of your faith grow deep. I love that. Do not rush into producing visible results or chasing after premature success. John 15:15 says, it's Jesus talking, and he says, I am the vine, you are the branches. Whoever abides in me will bear much fruit. Without me, you can do nothing. So we are to be producing fruit, and but we have to make sure our roots are grounded deep into the ground. We have to have deep roots in our faith. So, or I do, and I'm telling my grandchildren too. Sorry. Verse 26, do not eat any meat with the blood in it. Do not practice divination or seek omens. Do not cut the hair at the sides of your head or clip off the edges of your beard. Do not cut your bodies for the dead or put tattoo marks on yourselves. I am the Lord. Do not degrade your daughter by making her a prostitute, or the land will turn to prostitution and be filled with wickedness. Observe my Sabbaths and have reverence for my sanctuary. I am the Lord. Do not turn to mediums or seek out spiritists, for you will be defiled by them. I am the Lord your God. So it's back in this time, well, I guess they probably maybe have these practices too, the pagan practices. So do not turn to pagan practices These practices were on an attempt to control the future and appease the dead. God demands that his people find their security and identity in him alone, not occult superstitions. Verses 32. Let's see. Stand up in the presence of the aged. Show respect for the elderly and revere your God. I am the Lord. When a foreigner resides among you in your land, do not mistreat them. The foreigner residing among you must be treated as your native born. Love them as yourself, for you were a foreigner in Egypt. I am the Lord your God. So we are to honor our elders, always. I've always been told that because it reflects humility. Treat foreigners like you would treat yourself. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. This could be someone from another country, as we typically think about a foreigner. It could be a new church member, a new colleague, a new neighbor. Make room to be kind to everyone. Always make room for that. Ephesians 2:19 basically says you are a citizen and a child of God. And so is your neighbor. And so is your colleague. So is everybody else. They are a child of God. Sometimes some of us just need to recognize that we are his. But that's okay. They will. I hope. Anyway, so now I'm on the end. Do not use dishonest standards when measuring length, weight, or quantity. Use honest scales and honest weights, an honest ephah and an honest hin. I am the Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt. Keep all my decrees and all my laws and follow them. I am the Lord. So in that last part, it's basically talking about integrity. Be honest. Okay, just be honest. God is truthful. He values integrity. That means do the right thing even when no one's looking. Jesus is the truth. He perfectly represents honesty and righteousness. So I've got here John 14:16, and that's the verse that says that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. So there is Leviticus 19, and I'll be back on maybe tomorrow. It's about to be a hectic week, and I'm going to be busy doing stuff, but I will try I'm shooting for Leviticus 20 at least this week sometime. Peace and blessings. I love you. Bye.